Hi everyone, this is Emma with Mariposa's Kitchen, and I'm sharing with you today my frijoles a la charra, which is basically pinto beans made in a Mexican style way in a large pot, slow cooked, and absolutely delicious, and I believe so good for you. First of all, the ingredients. Now you're going to need about a pound and a half of pinto beans. Some folks like to soak their pinto beans overnight, 12 hours, 4 hours, it depends. Personally, I do not soak my beans because I like to slow cook them for about 3 hours. If you're going to soak them, then you can cook them a lot quicker. I don't actually do that. I like to just kind of get them. I clean out the beans, take out all the bad ones. I rinse them clean because they do come straight from the ground. They get packaged that way. And then I rinse them and I prepare them immediately. So what I do is I put a big stock pot of water on the stove. I use about 4.5 quarts of water in a large stock pot or Dutch oven. And usually if you have a 5 to 6 quart pot or Dutch oven, fill it about 3/4 of the way with water. Now you want to set that on the stove first thing. Then after you've done and cleaned your beans and rinsed them, pour your beans right in. Make sure your stove is on about medium high. At this time, we're going to start with the ingredients. You're going to add 2 large tomatoes. I like to use 2 large, beautifully ripe tomatoes. If you can't find 2 large tomatoes, find 3 medium tomatoes or 3 small tomatoes, three to four medium to small tomatoes. But I usually like to get 2 big, beautiful, maybe vine ripened tomatoes. And I'll just kind of give them a chop up. You'll see here in the pictures, just a quick chop up, throw them in the pot. And then get 1 medium white onion, just a quick chop also. This is the entire onion. Of course, you're going to cut off the parts that we don't use, and you know how that goes. And throw the whole thing in the pot as well. Now, you don't want to make your onion pieces too big, maybe about 1/4 wide, okay? Maybe about an inch long. So just kind of, if you maybe quarter your onion and then slice it about 1/4 wide, you should do just fine. Then what you want to do is add about 4 cloves of garlic. Now this is what I do. I'll smash the garlic and give it a good fine chop. But there are also different ways to do this. I do this because I want the garlic to become completely infused in there. If you find a small head of garlic, you don't even have to chop it, peel it, or anything. Just drop the whole thing in your pot. You might get a different flavor. You might get a flavor that you prefer. I've actually done it both ways, but I like the garlic to be, I want you to have that little bite of garlic if you can every now and then. So drop a whole head of garlic in there, or maybe put 4 to 5 heads of good size cloves of garlic, chop them up and throw that in there. You'll also want to add a good size handful of cilantro, just a real quick rough chop. Please take out the stems because those won't cook down very well. So just try to get your leaves in there. And you're going to want a good size handful of fresh cilantro. Nothing dried, nothing powdered, fresh cilantro. All of these ingredients are going to be fresh. So once you've added that in there, just continue stirring your pot as you're adding everything in. You'll want to cut up a pound of bacon. You're going to cut it up in about 1 inch wide slices, and you're just going to cut up the whole package and just put it in the pot. Stir everything up. As everything is stirring up, get 1 large jalapeno. Drop it in your pot and add about a tablespoon of salt. Now you might find as you're cooking, you might want to add a little bit more salt, a little bit less, or you'll know it won't be less salt than that. Let me tell you that much. Once you've got everything in the pot and everything is stirred, what you'll want to do at this point is just put your heat on low, cover it, and just let it cook slowly for about 3 hours. Cook low and slow. That's it. What you'll have is a wonderful pot of of bean soup, you can call it. It eats like a soup, but it can eat like a meal. It's absolutely delicious. Your house will smell amazing. And something you can try, you can always add a different type of pepper if you want it to be really hot, like maybe serrano pepper. But just be careful because serrano peppers are very hot. You can also add a couple of dashes of red chili powder. I do that every now and then as well. So once everything has come to a boil, you're going to turn it down and you're going to put a lid on it, maybe giving it a little bit of space for the steam to release. And you'll just stir occasionally. And you want to monitor the beans to make sure they do not run dry. If you've put enough water in there, they shouldn't. But if it looks like they might be heading towards not having enough juice in there to look like a soup, add a little bit more water. And about 30 minutes before your 3 hours are up, pop your jalapeno open. The jalapeno is going to add a whole world of flavor. If it's a really hot jalapeno, it might be a little spicy, but my experience has found that the jalapenos don't really add too much of a kick as they add a lot of flavor. So you can eat these again like a soup. Once they're done, they'll be wonderful. These are the same beans that you can use to create refried beans. So what you want to do there is once your beans are ready and they're set and you've got them set aside, heat up in a separate, very sturdy frying pan or cast iron skillet some manteca, so lard, okay, and heat up about, I want to say maybe 2 tablespoons worth of manteca. Let it get nice and hot. And then you're going to add, and this is going to create some splatter, so be careful because what you're doing is you're frying these beans. You're going to add about 3 to 4 cups of beans with the juice into your cast iron skillet or wherever it is you want to refry your beans. Now you're going to want them to cook down a little bit more. As they're cooking, you're going to see a foam that's going to form on top of the beans. Go ahead and just continue cooking the beans until that foam has disappeared. Once the foam has disappeared, then what you want to do is get a masher, like a potato masher, and mash them all up. And that's how you create your refried beans. And it's just that simple. I love to cook. You should cook with love.